James tweets that black people are afraid to leave their homes, when in fact it is rare for a white person to kill a black person anytime. It is rare. There are about 20,000 homicides every year. Most homicide is same race homicide. Most blacks who are murdered are murdered by other blacks. Most whites who are murdered by other whites. However, every year there are roughly 750 interracial black-white homicides. 500 white people killed by blacks, even though blacks are just 13% of the population. 250 whites killed by blacks, even though 250 blacks killed by whites, even though whites are 60% of the population. It is very, very rare for it to happen. That's homicide. Let's talk about violent crime between blacks and whites. Roughly 600,000 such instances every year. By that I'm talking about attempted murder, manslaughter, rape, assault with a weapon, aggravated assault. 600,000 every single year. 85 to 90% is a black perp white victim. Only 10% the other way around. So if anybody has a grievance, it ought to be white people, because the numbers overwhelmingly show that they are more likely to be victims of crime by black people than the other.
But here's what's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny here today, and we're going to be talking about the inconvenient truths about the consequences of seeing color. As you saw from the intro, Larry Elder came out spitting. He came out rapping. That man was hitting bar for bar. He was hitting. He Steph Curry with the three with the information. And it's a kind of an inconvenient truth is that a lot of the racialized narratives that we create for ourselves, that we purport in society, is not true. It's all based on presumptions, assumptions that when questioned for evidence, when challenged, doesn't hold any weight or water. Right? Black Lives Matter ran on this stuff, right? But if Black Lives Matter had to protest every time a black man killed another black man, we'll hear them every single day. All you got to do is go to Chicago, right? Anytime these people, when they want to make it a national story, because at the end of the day, it's not national news for something that is normal. It's normal for a black man to kill another black man. That's normal. No one wants to bring attention to that. But when something rare happens, of course that's going to be frontline news because it barely happens. And this is the problem I have with mainstream media. Right? This is my problem. What happened when I see people who see color. All they do is see color. They sitting here like, oh, white people are the most dangerous threat to my life as a black man. And then when you look at the stats, when you look at the odds are someone who has the same pigmentation as you is more likely to kill you than someone who don't have it. That's the inconvenient truth. So the consequences of seeing color is you do things that is necessarily not the best for you at the situation. You have an assumption that reading is white supremacy because all the books were made by white people. That the race shouldn't matter. It should be like, is it valid information or not valid information? Who cares if this stat makes black people look bad? The data doesn't prove a narrative. It proves a result. The data only proves that black people have this result. Black people are disproportionately in jail. Why? Because black people disproportionately commit more crimes. Simple. Data only proves a result, not a narrative. I want that to be the slogan of my channel. And people want to sit back and pretend that mostly white people will agree with your statement, Kenny. Therefore, your information is not true. No. It's either true or not. Can you disprove it or not? That's all we should care about in this culture. But we have racialized everything to the point right now we're trying to equate slavery to being white history. Right? And I think I mentioned this already, but I kind of wanted to go back to this comment on the top. Some guy, assuming he's black, he looks kind of black. I don't know. He looked mixed to me, but I have different standards. Largest human trafficking operation in world history. The transatlantic slave trade was a uniquely European concept. I'm going to get back to that. So you can miss me with whites abolish slavery BS. Y'all like to spew on this app. We want reparations. We can care less about who started it and who stopped it. And that's where I'm going to have a problem with Mr. Smith here. One, you absolve Africa of all responsibility of their part they played into transatlantic slave trade. The transatlantic slave trade would never been possible without the cooperations of Africans. So you already missed me with this ish. This is what happened when you see color. You don't see history objectively. How can Europeans go to a climate where they wouldn't be able to properly survive? The whites were only able to get to the coast of Africa. So that means someone had to do the other work of actually enslaving people. I wonder who. People who look just like you. The biggest enemy is not people outside your group, it's in your group. And this is my biggest talking point. that black people need to change their own behaviors to change their own outcomes. If they sit around waiting for other people to give them free money, reparations, and I believe even from a moral sense, this is the consequence of seeing color. Because you happen to look like people that been enslaved, now you feel entitled to get something for it? Oh my God, the audacity. I don't know how you can make that moral argument. That you get to benefit off the suffering of your ancestors. You get to benefit off of the suffering of people who look like you. And you force people who didn't inflict slavery, didn't inflict suffering on you to pay because they happen to look like, or they happen to be the same race as the slave owners. Even though only 5% of Americans have any connections to slavery. Kenny, how can you come up with that number? There was only 400,000 slave owners. That means only 400,000 families have any ties to slavery. How many people are in the United States? 400 million. In my case, there you go. So only 5% of people have any ties to slavery, but you want all of society to give you reparations? What kind of BS argument is that? This is why only Democrats. Reparations is only favorable for Democrats. And last time I checked, Democrats aren't the only people paying taxes. So you could, hey, just like you say, you don't care, you want reparations, you feel entitled to reparations. I don't care. You don't deserve nothing. You hear crying. Like, yo, this is what happens when you give people special treatment. This is what happens when you see color. That you think just because you share the same skin color as somebody, you get some type of passed down trauma. No, you don't. Your environment traumatizes you. Your parents traumatize you. Your parents traumatize you by telling that you can't go anywhere because you are a black man. Instead of telling you the reality, hey, you work hard, you be so good, no one can deny your efforts. No one can deny your success. And that's why I started off with Larry Elder, because he started off with LeBron James. All these successful black people telling black people that they can't make it. How it makes sense? Make it make sense. This is what happens when you see color, because you believe any BS just because someone who happens to look like you tells it to you. But a black millionaire is telling you, an average black man, that he can't make it in America, that he has more struggle in America, but he was able to make it. Why not transfer information and values that can help the average black man succeed? And it's this complex that I don't know where this is going. All I know is it's only going to create more racial division. So I digress. I know I've been on a little tangent on that one, but I felt like I had to say it. It's coming straight from the heart. This is what I actually believe. Racism can't stop me. And I don't see color. Actually, I see color last is a more accurate statement. But I digress. I want to show you another clip. This is from a viral clip that was viral a long time ago when the whole BLM stuff was going on. And it kind of encapsulates this whole world view that I've been seeing, noticing. And this is the kind of energy that I'm on in 2024. Let's take a look.
It's wrong for a white cop to kill a black person, that's for sure. But if it matters, it should matter at all times.
So what are you fighting for? What are you fighting for? You are not here to fight injustice. You're here to cause drama.
Will be stop violence. It's not about blacks.
In a unicorn world. That's not a
Stop the
unicorn
violence,
world.
period.
Okay, since you're so...
You guys actually claim blacks are oppressed. I am black, I'm not oppressed.
That's
I am
good for you.
free.
That's good for you. That's an individual person. What about a systemic issue?
Where? I am black. I've always wanted to be. I have I do what I want. You have the skills. This is a country where you have the skills. You want to do what you want. You do it. Stop forcing on people to accept that they're oppressed. They are not. I am not oppressed. I am black. Stop making people accept that they're oppressed. You're forcing a rhetoric into your minds, which is not true. That's my point.
Okay.
Violence is wrong, period. It's not about blacks.
Of course.
You agree that whites kill whites too, right?
Of course.
Have you seen any white person coming out and saying white life matter or white thing? No, violence is wrong.
They literally do all the time. Every time there's a Black Lives Matter
It's a
protest,
violence
a
problem.
white
It's
person...
not a black problem. It's a violence problem. The blacks kill blacks in black neighborhoods every single day. I have never seen a Black Lives Matter in those neighborhoods. Never. Never Black Lives Matter. Stop the hypocrisy. Nobody takes this seriously. Nobody. If it matters, it should matter in black neighborhoods. You start cleaning at home.
So why don't you go?
You
Why don't
start
you
your
start?
case at home.
Why don't you start?
I'm not carrying anything
Why
saying
don't
Black
you
Lives
start?
Matter. I
Why
know I
don't you start?
matter.
Why don't you start?
You guys are wasting everybody's time.
Yeah, it shows you that these people, when they say we see color, they mainly just saying, hey, we just want to find an excuse to cause drama, to push our rhetoric, right? And that's what it is. You push it a perception that, hey, based on racial lines, people are in inherent sin, inherent traits Oh, because my ancestors faced slavery, I inherited their suffering. So therefore, since I inherited their suffering, I'm justified in asking for reparations. When you ask, okay, name me the name of your slave owner, you can't tell me because you never had one. Imagine that. That's my biggest argument. Like, there's no moral argument for someone to justify that they deserve reparations when they even face slavery personally. The fact that in Black History Month, all they like to push is how Black people were victims instead of how Black people were victors. And I think that's the biggest reason why I don't celebrate Black History Month, because it's not history. It's cherry-picked framing. And that's what it is. You can't tell me I'm lying. You know more about the losses of the black community than the wins. They don't teach you about the Negro Business League. They don't teach you how in one generation they accelerated literacy. You got a bunch of Black people graduating out of college, ex-slaves dying millionaires. They don't teach you that stuff in Black History Month. They only teach you one perspective on Black history. When they talk about Black history, they only talk about how they were victims. And they use it as a way of justifying prejudice today. Let's take a look.
I just opened my TikTok app and my good up friend Pre just reminded me it's deadass Black History Month. Do you know what that means? All the whitey people, you're done for this month. I have my eyes on you. If we walking on the sidewalk and you walk past me, you're racist. If I catch y'all buying cotton at Target, I'm giving y'all the meanest side eye ever. Don't let me catch you eating none of the West Indian foods, bro. All the white people to the back of the bus. Don't even scream back door. Walk. Miss your stop and walk. I don't even want to see you in my provision. I don't want to see you at all. I don't even want to hear you. This is our month. If we on a train car and it's packed and you sitting down and a bunch of Black people come in, get up. Get up. That's the least you can do. Get up. If there's a line, we're skipping. We get to skip. It's our month. We get to skip. I just feel like every Black person should get paid more this month, but that's just me. If your mom is white and your dad is Black, you don't get to celebrate this month. But if your mom is Black and your dad is white, yeah, gang, yeah. I just feel like there's certain qualifications and rules. There's just certain qualifications and rules. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that is piggybacking struggle. That's what it is. You guys are piggybacking off the struggle. You learn about history, about people who happen to share the same skin color as you, what they suffered through, and then you piggyback off that struggle to justify you being prejudiced, racist today. Oh, you guys got to go back in the bus because of you made my people do it. I don't even know if you actually are genetically related to a descendant of slave. But you here piggybacking on struggle. You couldn't tell from a Black immigrant from an African American, but y'all all can claim struggle. Y'all can all say, oh, Black History Month, if you walk by me, you racist. This is all it is, grievance culture. That's all it is. This is the reality. This is the consequence of seeing color. People want to justify their hatred and grievance for another group of people because of some some perceived slight. How is this not prejudice? The idea that white people are inherently racist is prejudice in of itself. Only 5% of white people have any ties to slavery. Yet you want to abolish the whole race in it. Embezzle the whole race in it. Oh no, the whole race is responsible for this. Absolve your people who you're directly descended from. You absolve Africa for their part in the transatlantic slave trade, but you deserve reparations. Baffling to me, right? And you want to know the results? Here's the consequences of it. Then this is I'm gonna end off with this. This is how liberals end up having all this racial presumptions, and they want to relate everything to race, because at the end of the day, race is used as an alibi. This is the consequence of seeing color. That you don't see objectively, you see very subjectively. You use your imagination. You imagine your problems. You're more frightened by the imagination of racism than the reality of racism. Racism can't stop you. Racism can't hold you back. Oh, the math test is racist. How is the math test racist? If I convince you because of your skin color you can't succeed at a certain subject, am I being racist to you? Am I conditioning your mind to believe in training your mind to be helpless? Oh, what's the point of trying to study for a math test? The math test is racist. I won't pass it anyway, so why bother? If I condition you to perceive yourself as helpless, to perceive your skin color as a handicap, would you even try to do anything? And this explains the reality of why Black people are economically stagnant. This is why a lot of Black people want their handout, because they feel like they can't do nothing for themselves. They're waiting for their little white liberal saviors to come here and save them. And because I'm my black conservative butt, don't believe that no one's my savior. I'm not looking for anyone to save me. I'm gonna save myself. But I'm gonna call it down the middle. Because I don't need no one. I don't need to pander to nobody. I don't need to pander to people who look like me. They think they look like me. I'm not pandering to whites, Asians. I don't care. Look, I'm American, bro. Like, if you're gonna disparage my country, at least come correct. At least give it proper context. But you cherry picking history with your revisionist history, with your 1619 revisionist history, and try to project a narrative to justify why you feel hatred towards another group of people for no reason other because they're white, other because they have better outcomes than you, when you're not willing to do the same work. But I digress. We're going to go into a little bit of this clip and then I'll end off the video.
Hey, Charlie. Thanks for coming. I want to ask a question about racism. I know you've argued that systemic racism in the U.S. doesn't exist. I wanted to point out some answers I think that's obviously wrong and see what you think about it. So just starting with the issue of crime, we know for a fact, because it's been studied pretty extensively, black people and people who aren't black or white people use drugs, commit nonviolent drug offenses at pretty much the same rates. Black people get arrested for these crimes about 2 to 3 times more often. It's dropping now that we've legalized weed more and more states, which is a great thing that we've done. Even if you say that police are doing that not on purpose, but because they're just in areas where more violent crime is committed and they're patrolling, isn't that an obvious example of something that black people have to deal with in this country that's much worse off for them than non-black people?
Okay. I muted myself. So one. Look at you didn't see the color? See color. See color is things based on race. Okay. He's making the argument that black people get stopped more, get policed more because they're black. It's not the fact that, I already explained to you in the beginning of the video. And see, this is where when I make my videos, I always try to tie it all together. So if you don't watch the full thing and you make comments quick as hell, hey, that's a you problem, not a me problem. But you can see how it conditions the perspective of a lot of people in America. This is why liberals have this idea that black people can't find their way at the DMV. Black people can't get a driver's license. Why they think requiring voter ID is racist, because they perceive black people incapable of finding a way to verify their identification. Craziness, right? This is the consequences of seeing color. You create another type of prejudice, another type of racism, the bigotry of low expectations. And this is the consequences of seeing color. And that's the inconvenient truth. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Agree, disagree. Hey, let me have it in the comment section. I would really like to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next Inconvenient Truth. Peace.